I'm a molecular biologist and I'm doing basic research on pediatric solid tumors, and my work focuses on pediatric sarcomas. And currently I'm leading a team of 7 people, and we are based at the Säugetiers der Krebsforschung here in Vienna. Sarcomas are solid tumors affecting soft tissue, let's say the muscle and the bone. So they're quite rare. It's about 2% of adult cancer cases are sarcomas. However, sarcomas are quite high incidence among children and young adults. So about 20% of pediatric tumors are sarcomas. And here in my group, we are focusing especially on one type of childhood cancer, which is Ewing sarcoma. For the last 30-35 years, Ewing sarcoma therapists just receive the same treatment protocols that consist mainly of high-dose chemotherapy and radiotherapy. But this is the time now to change this. We have the tools and we have gained more knowledge to start applying more precise and targeted approaches where each individual patient with Ewing sarcoma is treated based on its unique biological and molecular characteristics. So working with solid tumors, we have a major limitation that we don't get easily access to tumor tissue material. Traditional biopsies are quite painful, especially for children and young adults. But now, thankfully, we can use liquid biopsies, which means we just withdraw 1 or 2 ml of blood from the patient. Tumor cells release DNA in the bloodstream. By collecting blood, you collect DNA from the tumor, which can easily be used and analyzed to study Ewing sarcoma tumor DNA. So our liquid biopsy project is a nice example how we can move from the lab doing basic research to the clinic. And we are very grateful because a year ago we received a big grant to bring this assay to the clinic. And this is something I'm very excited that within the next few years we will be making a major contribution towards the benefit of patients with Ewing sarcoma. So I was born in the US, but I grew up in Greece on a small island. In high school, this was the late 90s, I became excited about going into biology and molecular genetic because back then all over the news it was Dolly the sheep in Scotland. Funny enough, I ended up going to Scotland to study my first degrees. I studied molecular biology and afterwards I received a fellowship to perform my PhD at the University of Cambridge in England. And then I moved to Cambridge in Massachusetts in the US, where I did my postdoc for 2 years. In 2012, I moved to Vienna and I joined the Säugetiers der Krebsforschung as a researcher. I lived in many cities before, but Vienna is one of my favorites. I think I'm very grateful that I live here. And I think it's a very beautiful city. And I always like to just walk through the city. Start from the 9th district where our lab is based and move my way through the 8th district, the 7th district. And I always like to end up at Volksgarten. I think it's very beautiful there. It's very colorful, especially when the roses are in blossom. And I'm very happy to say that I even have a rose dedicated to myself, and which makes me happy to always pass by and check how my little rose is doing. Yeah, working in the lab, it requires a lot of the brain always being on. I need to spend time with myself and free up my mind. The room in my home where I can isolate myself and the members of my family respect me is my kitchen. So when I cook, my family just leaves me alone. And this is actually, I can call it my guilty pleasure. Science is all about creativity. It's fantastic that the FWF has a program where we can apply for grants that is called the 1000 Ideas Project that aims to support new, and I like to call it crazy ideas. It lets us think outside the box and come up with something that no one has explored before. I was very privileged to get one of these projects that allow us to understand mechanisms of resistance to drug therapy. By this project, we may even end up providing novel therapeutic and better targeted therapies for Ewing sarcoma, so that how to make cancer cells less resistant to therapy. Let's assume in 30 years from now, I would like to look back and think that I have contributed in making the life better and easier for children with cancer.